Welcome to another edition of the OC Show. I'm your host, Donnie Henderson. Today is a special episode of the OC Show, and before I get to why it's so special, I want to go ahead and give props to my sponsor, IDS Hair Care Products. IDS Hair Care Products for men and for women is a proud sponsor of the OC Show. Please show them some love. Come on out and go to the website, check out the products for men and for women. I love the beard cream, keeps my beard nice and soft, keeps my face around my beard nice and soft. That's my favorite part of it. And the other one is the hemp shampoo for the beard and mustache. Great stuff, great products. IDS Hair Care Products. Please support the OC show by supporting our sponsor, IDS Hair Care Products. Today we have a special guest. A special guest. We are going to be talking to my very first guest on the OC show. Stay tuned and you will see my very first OC show guest. Thanks for the support, everybody. All right, as I promised, we have our first ever guest on the OC show. We're building something great here, and I'm very happy to have Donald Baker with us today. He is an NPC bodybuilding athlete, NPC judge, and NPC stands for National Physique Committee, professional bodybuilding, fitness center owner, NSCA certified strength and conditioning specialist, anti-aging specialist, and my uncle, Donald Baker. Welcome to the OC show.
Hey, OC, our champion. It's good to be here.
All right, all right. Before we get into it, because we have a subject that we want to talk about today, biggest subject in sports today. You got a Gale Sayers and a jersey back there?
That is a authentic and autographed Gale Sayers jersey. Let's make sure you can. Yep.
That's crazy. Now, me being a Lions fan, and most people know that I'm a Lions fan, I could care less about the Bears, but I have respect for the story of Gale Sayers, especially. You know, being a sports fan, you got to have respect for that. And I got two Chicago Bears fans that I'm going to have to share that with. Two of my good friends from college. We're going to be very, very happy to see that. So, big props to the Gale Sayers jersey in the back there. So, let's get to it real quick. As I introduce you, this is my uncle, Donald Baker, and he and I have conversations from time to time. And Donald Baker, and not everybody doesn't fall in this category, and I'll give him his flowers now. He is one of the men that I actually do look up to and trust, and he's in the category of things that I do listen to, things that I should have listened to, and things that I'm going to listen to in the future. He's one of a handful of men that are in that group. So he's in there with that group. So thanks for joining us, Donald Baker, Uncle Donald. Let's get to our subject here.
Let's get to it.
The biggest story in sports right now, all sports fans, whether you're a football fan or not, Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. My question to you, is Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, good for college football?
Is Coach Prime good for college football? My answer is a complete affirmative. He is great for college football.
He's great. How so?
Well, not only is he bringing in huge revenue to the University of Colorado, and obviously for himself, but just the excitement about a waffling team. University of Colorado waffled probably for the last 2 decades, and already this year he's bringing in great plaudits, great attendance, huge attendance, and he is definitely attempting to recruit the kind of athlete that he believes can not only represent the school, but he certainly wants to bring guys that can go to the next level, become a professional athlete. And let's go farther. And he will say it from time to time. It is more than just being a football athlete. he really is trying to train these individuals to be excellent men with good morals and proper conduct. I think he's great for college football.
You know what? We're gonna have to do that all over again. Oh no,
Why
we're
is that?
not. We got no, we got it. No, we got it good. Okay, my apologies. This is my first time having a guest, but very good answer. I thought for some reason we weren't on air, but we got it on. We got it under control. That's great. But yeah, I want to kind of unpack that a little bit. But as far as him bringing revenue to the sport, that's great. I mean, revenue to the school, the University of Colorado. They must be over the moon. If you're a Colorado fan, you have to be happy. Even for people in the schools in the Pac-12 now, Colorado will be moving to the Big 12. So the Big 12, they got to be happy too, because all the attention that's being brought to the sport is going to be actually brought to the conference. Now, as far as attention, I want to park there for a second. The attention that is being brought to the sport and to that university, some would say, is negative attention. Negative is in, we're recording on, today is the 23rd of September, 2:31 Eastern Standard Time. Colorado's going to be playing in about an hour. They're currently 3-0. They've beaten TCU, they've beaten Nebraska, and they've beaten Colorado State. The attention that each one of those games brought was something different. For the most part, very entertaining. Why do we watch sports? To be entertained. Some would say some of the attention that's being brought on, and those folks that are probably not Deion Sanders fans anyway, would say, oh, he's just showing his arrogance, he's showing his flashiness, and it's not good for the sport. What do you think about that?
First off, as a former business owner, I used to own a gym in Lacey, Washington, and I had an employee, short-term employee, but someone that contributed to my business. He made a statement to me, and it rings true with Coach Prime. All attention is good attention. All attention causes marketing and causes attention to your business. So some are going to call it good, some will call it bad, but attention to your brand is important, and it furthers marketing. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, is unapologetic about I think everything he does. And I'm going to say, he will tell you he has been in the limelight for decades. So much of what he does probably is scripted, just because he can anticipate the questions, and his answers are really quote unquote primed, so that they just roll off his tongue. So attention is good, and the fact that he is not only bringing revenue to the college, but also for his program, for the town of Boulder, Colorado, and for football, for the sport of college football in general. I think the man's doing a great job. Unapologetic about who he is. We have to understand, Coach Prime is a Southern-born American Negro. So the politics and the standards of living in a big place like the United States different from region to region. He is unapologetic about how he approaches his coaching. I think he was an unapologetic athlete. We have to understand something about an athlete of his stature. The man's a 14-year veteran in professional football. I think a 9-year veteran in professional baseball. Hall of Fame in football and for college football. 1 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowls. You take a special athlete like a Coach Prime, like Deion Sanders, they understand things about sport that other people just don't understand because of their talent. And I've watched his interviews. He simply appears to love the game of football, love coaching football, and love mentoring these young men that he's recruited. Now, we haven't talked about it, but I might as well get it out in the open. I think he is a huge beneficiary of the ability of college football players to move from school to school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Without that, gosh dang, it would have taken him, probably 6, 7, 8 years to build a program. So, this portal, he's a huge beneficiary of that, and he has gone out and found huge talent. So let's just get that out in the open. But again, when you take a special athlete with that kind of stature, they understand sport, they understand human beings at a different level. And I can attest to being a college football player and wanting to be a professional player. I was just not talented enough. And the individuals who have that kind of talent, they see the sport differently. Coach Prime understands how to recruit, he understands how to coach, and he has certainly surrounded himself with some really good coaches.
In that answer, and you gave a wealth in that answer. That was an excellent answer. But there's one thing that I want to take out of that answer that you said about Coach Prime, Coach Sanders. He is and I want to make sure I say it correctly. I didn't write it all the way down. He's a Southern-born Negro.
American Negro.
A Southern-born American Negro. And you kind of just gave a little bit of your age using the word Negro, but it's all right. A Southern-born American Negro. We'll go with that. Everyone understands what that means. As far as the Black community, I see most of the Black community is rallying behind Coach Sanders. Would you agree with that?
Of course, I'm sure we do.
Okay, why?
And if you go back,
and before you answer, and the reason I ask you that question, without giving your age, you have some years on me, and you have experience, and you've seen more things. And as far as sports go, you've seen things, and you watch, and you pay attention, you look at things a little bit differently than I do, and that's why I like talking to you about sports, because you look at things a little bit differently than I do. We may agree, we may not agree. And what I want to ask, and the reason I'm asking you this question is one of the questions I actually had written down, and you just kind of put me right into there, so it was kind of perfect. Why do you think the Black community is rallying behind Coach Sanders?
That's a complicated question. I'll try to answer it directly. Number one, we certainly appreciate quote unquote one of our own, a American Negro like the rest of the Black community. We appreciate his success. And many of the people I associate with, or let me back up, not that many, but a couple of individuals I've talked to say, I like Deion Sanders, and these are non-Negroes in the United States. I like Deion Sanders, but he's, I think his ego is too big, or he's too showy. That's a cultural thing. He is not apologetic about who he is, and our community, the American Negro community. I think we just appreciate, number one, success. But let's be honest, and I've had this conversation with many of my friends. If an opponent is great, it's really ridiculous for you to not admit that that opponent is great. So you don't have to like the opponent, but greatness is something that we all just kind of love. And let's just go here really quick, and it's a side note. The thing that makes action movies and superhero movies, the thing that makes those movies so entertaining is the villain.
Exactly. I totally agree.
So you still have to appreciate anyone's talent. Coach Prime is again, he's really upfront. He appears to be a believer. I think he is a believer. And again, his passion is just it bubbles over when you watch the interview. His passion is so great. And again, most of the people who interview him, it's like a wrestling match, and he wins every time. He knows what they're going to say, and his answers are he's right on top.
Okay, and so and my last question was actually you went perfectly right to my last question, because he said he's a believer. You and I are both believers. Everyone who watches this may or may not be a believer. The people in my circles are mostly believers.
Yep.
My family were believers. His belief in God is something that he does not shy away from.
Unapologetic.
Now, unapologetic, as you say. Unapologetic, as you say. Do you think it's genuine? I think I know the answer, but do you think it's genuine?
I think it's absolutely genuine. Now,
Okay.
Non-believers mostly will not profess to be believers in the first place. So to have his kind of podium and to to spout that to the general public, no, I think it's completely genuine.
Completely genuine, not anything that would be something that some would say boastful or arrogant, because we know that, we're not going to get into a Bible lesson here, but if someone who's boastful is not, honoring the Lord. But do you think that sometimes people will interpret the way he presents himself as boastful or arrogant, or are they just misinterpreting that? Because you're using the perfect word, unapologetic.
So people will certainly misinterpret or misconstrue. And the people who really appreciate athletics will understand, or there are some folks who appreciate athletics and understand, if someone says, if they make big statements and continue to back up those statements, then you let it go. And you just, I think that makes that person that much more admirable. It's very difficult to put out a statement about what you are going to do, and then for the most part do it. So that allows for, Muhammad Ali was a predictor. He predicted things would happen, and oftentimes he predicted he would knock someone out in a certain round. People may not have liked it, but the guy, he backed up his words, and he was boastful about it to some degree, yes. But again, human beings are human beings, and if that's a character flaw, then I'll admit that you could call that a character flaw. But at the same time, it doesn't bother me. I enjoy his entertainment, the entertainment factor that he brings to an interview, and he really appears to get the individuals in his locker room to believe.
To believe, yes, that's his thing. So again, we're on September 23rd. It's about 2:45 Eastern Standard Time. Colorado will be playing Oregon here in about an hour, I'd say. So
I'll be there.
3-0 right now. So we're going to see what happens. But as of right now, that's the biggest sports story in the nation, if not the world. Deion Sanders. And I'd like to thank you, Donald Baker, for joining me on the OC show. This will not be the last time, because there's several other subjects that are going to come up that I will love to have you on this platform to be able to have a conversation with you. And hopefully we can do this again very soon.
OC, hey, we love you. And thanks to all those who are listening. Support the OC show.
Thank you very much.